Hi, and welcome to Northwest Brew Talk. I'm Mike Rizzo.
And I'm Michelle Rizzo.
And this is episode number 34. Each week we promote the Washington brewing industry by talking to those people involved in drinking Washington beer. With almost 300 breweries, we try to highlight as many as possible every single episode. If you're new to the show, we suggest you check out our back catalog with some great interviews and lots of Washington beer. On today's show, we have an interview with Farmstrong Brewing, our brew news and views, and local music from the Young Eagles.
If you have any comments or questions, send us an email to nwbrewtalk@gmail.com. We are on Twitter at nwbrewtalk and on Facebook at facebook.com/nwbrewtalk. If you like the show and you want to support us, why not become a patron? With the donation, we offer everything from a guest hosting the show to a copy of our upcoming book, Washington Beer. Head over to nwbrewtalk.podbean.com for more details. To start the show, let's open a beer.
All right, this is Duplicity from Naked City Brewing. Naked City Brewery opened in Seattle in 2008. They are open 7 days a week in the Greenwood neighborhood of Seattle, and they are kid-friendly.
Always important to note. Naked City Duplicity is a Belgian-style double. It has an untapped rating of 3.59, is 8% ABV and 8 IBUs. It is an Abbey-style Belgian double made with Pilsner, Cara Amber, Crystal, and chocolate malts, hopped with Mount Hood and Cascade. They say it looks like deep mahogany and tastes like chocolate, stone fruit, black pepper, spice. Sounds interesting.
It is pretty interesting. I expected it to be a little heavier. I know it is 8% ABV, but it is only 8 IBUs.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's different.
Yeah, I expected it to be like a little heavier tasting.
Yeah, like darker beers usually are.
Yeah, but no. Stone fruit, black pepper, spice, chocolate. You can definitely taste like the chocolate. And it is like a deep mahogany color. It's very dark. You can almost not see your fingers through it.
Yeah.
That's not bad at all.
No, not at all.
Pretty good. And, another different one. We won't have another IPA for a while. We've got a ton of different beers coming up over the weeks here. But, that's not bad at all. Now on to our brew news and views.
Topping this week's news are 2 new brewery openings. Fortside Brewing Company is located in Vancouver. They had a soft opening all the way back in May and decided it was time to have a grand opening, which will be held this weekend. Farmstrong Brewing in Mount Vernon had their soft opening last Friday, and this Friday, the 19th, is their grand opening. Today we have an interview with Todd Owsley, one of the founders of Washington's newest brewery. If you are near either of these breweries, please stop by and support them. Bellingham Beer Week continues this week through Sunday, September 20th. We took a ride out to Chuckanut Brewery over the weekend for their Oktoberfest and had quite a good time.
Definitely.
Visit BellinghamBeerWeek.com for more event details.
Website theculturetrip.com had a recent story on the 12 best craft Washington breweries. The list appears to be just a stab at Washington breweries, as there doesn't seem to be any real editorial for each choice. It includes a few that you'd expect, like Black Raven Brewing and Reuben's Brews, but the rest of the list is interesting, starting with Airways Brewing, Boundary Bay Brewing, Burwood Brewing, Heathen Brewing, Icicle Brewing, Iron Goat Brewing, Republic Brewing, Stoop Brewing, and Walking Man Brewing. If you want to read the list, you can find it on our Facebook page. Ten Pin Brewery in Moses Lake is doing a major expansion. They currently run a 3-barrel operation, but with demand pushing them to their limit of their equipment, they are building a brand new facility next door to Lake Bowl, where they are located, capable of brewing 7,500 barrels per year, and the ability to quickly upgrade to 21,000 barrels. Brewing should start this December, and the first beer is expected to be released in March. They are possibly going to have barrel-aged beers also, and more, starting in early 2016.
Wow, that's very cool.
Yeah.
Recent story on NPR by Eliza Barclay investigates whether women are better tasters than men. All you brewers out there might want to listen to this. The sense of taste is directly related to the sense of smell, and researchers found in 2 separate studies that individuals can become increasingly sensitive to certain odors over time, detecting them at lower and lower concentrations. They trained groups of men and women to identify smells at diluted concentrations, and in both studies, only women of reproductive age saw their sensitivity increase multifold. In the second study, with some training, they could identify odors at concentrations up to 11 orders of magnitude lower than men. Researchers Paul Breslin said, quote, "It's not that women are super sensitive to everything, it's that women are a little better when they focus their attention on a smell," unquote. So they might be better at tasting those unique flavors in your beer. Think about it the next time you're brewing a batch.
Yeah, that was definitely an interesting article, how they related the taste and the smell together.
Yeah.
And one of the other things they said was that they think that it's hormonal, and that's why it's reproductive women, and possibly because women, they have to be able to like sense their child, so they could smell their child, and they think it's somehow tied to that. Now, they did say that most men could probably gain the same ability with training. So that's how that goes. Now, another California brewery has been sucked into the mega beer world. Miller Coors announced it would acquire a majority stake in fast-growing San Diego craft brewery St. Archer Brewing. Financial terms were not disclosed, but a recent Wall Street Journal valuation estimates craft breweries at $1,000 per barrel, which means that St. Archer could fetch as much as $35 million, as they are expected to produce 35,000 barrels this year. This is Miller Coors' first major acquisition since 2012. St. Archer opened in 2013 and quickly gained respect, including winning a gold medal at the 2014 Great American Beer Festival. Thanks to Brewbound.com for that story. And speaking of Miller Coors, last month, newly appointed CEO Mark Hunter spoke to Financial Times about the craft beer segment. He said that Miller Coors pioneered the craft segment in the United States with Blue Moon, which he says is, quote, the most popular craft brand across the U.S., unquote. I'm not quite sure about that. They launched in 1995, well after Sam Adams, Burt Grant's, Dick's Brewing, Anacortes Brewery, and many, many more. He also said he did not believe that craft beer would overtake mainstream beer in the near future, but there will be more consolidation in the industry. That is interesting. They took a bite of one of the craft brewers there, but he doesn't think they're going to be able to overtake them. But it's good to know that, like Al Gore, who created the internet, Miller Coors created craft brewing.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
It is. And that is this week's Brew News and Views.
Welcome back to Northwest Brew Talk. If you want to submit news to Northwest Brew Talk, send us an email to nwbrewtalk@gmail.com. Or if you've not yet subscribed to our podcast, why not do it now? It's free, available anywhere you listen to podcasts, including iTunes, Podbean, and Stitcher. If you like us, a review or rating would be really appreciated. Make sure you tell your friends about Northwest Brew Talk.
Okay, now let's talk to Farmstrong Brewing from Mount Vernon. Get around when you open. All right, we're here with Todd Owsley from Farmstrong Brewing in Mount Vernon. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Awesome. Thanks for having me.
Thanks. So, tell me about Farmstrong. How did this get started? How did you guys all get involved in this?
Really, about a year ago, Mike and Katrina, his wife, and my wife were sitting in a bar having beer, where all great ideas come from.
Yeah, exactly.
And we kicked around like, what if we had a brewery and things like that? We just kind of we'd never really taken any steps to formally do it. I'd been in the distribution side of the business for the last 10 years. Obviously, he's been a brewer, here at Scatter for 12, 15 years, something like that. Yeah. And they were like, just jokingly, we were kicking around names, and they were going through all these names of breweries, and we like one in a million if we won a lottery. But he said, "What about Farmstrong?" And then they were laughing like it was a joke, and my wife and I kind of looked at each other like, "That's an excellent name, actually." And we talked about it. I was like, "See if that's available." So I went online, the domain, It was available, so I actually bought like 3 different versions of it.
Yeah.
Registered anyway for the domain, so we owned them. And about 4 months later, this deal ended up kind of just falling in our lap. Like, hey, you guys want to buy the system? Yes, we do.
Yeah.
So, and we already had a name and everything like that, so it worked out great. You know, that is really a play on Mike, his last name being Armstrong.
Right.
And then what we wanted to do was focus on from a marketing standpoint, and the way we fit here in the Skagit Valley, we wanted to highlight the agricultural history, heritage, and the importance of the agricultural business here in the Skagit Valley. And so I think the name of our company kind of embodies it, and our tagline is "Grow Something."
No,
You know, and it's more than just you know, it's grow a friendship, grow a relationship, grow a business, a community, a tree, a farm, whatever. You know, it speaks to a lot of different aspects of a community, and you know, that's what we want to do, is be a strong part and fixture in the community here in the Skagit Valley.
Nice. So, where did the system come from that you got?
From Skagit River Brewing.
Oh, it was? Okay.
Yeah. It was we basically bought the entire system from them and moved it over here.
Oh, okay. Now, how many barrels is that?
It's a 20-barrel system.
20? Okay. All right. So you've got the location then,
Yeah.
which we're at now,
Right.
and it's looking great so far.
Thank you.
Still on course for September 1st.
September 4th is our
4th?
target. Yeah, the 4th, which is
Okay.
that Friday, I think, before
Okay.
Labor Day weekend. We want to have our tap room here open. We started brewing last week, so that should give us time to get 4 to 5 beers on tap. We'll just kind of a soft opening. We'll be able to kind of work the kinks out and things like that.
Right.
And then we'll be doing our grand opening party on September 19th.
Okay, cool. And everything looking on time?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah? Awesome.
Feeling good about it.
Yeah, good. So are you still in the distribution side?
No, I left that back in March.
Did you? Okay. And that's around the same time Mike left, something like that?
Basically, he was there basically brewing for them until we got our liquor license.
Okay.
Because we didn't want to take the system out of there
Okay.
until we were approved and had our license to go, so that try and just reduce the disruption to the market in terms of the beer for
Okay.
Skagit. Yeah.
All right, yeah. So going to be opening, and with the 20-barrel system, how many different beers are you planning on having, on a regular basis?
Well, we'll always have 11 on tap.
11? Okay.
Yeah, there'll always be 11 on tap. The way we've got it lined up, we've probably got about 6 year-round beers. We have a seasonal releases that we're going to be doing, our Skagit Valley Estate Series, using all Skagit Valley ingredients from the malting, get our grains over from Skagit Valley malt. We're still working on a consistent source for local hops.
Okay.
There aren't a lot. Historically, this was actually a huge hop growing region. I don't know, WSU is still doing some things on hop strains that are mold resistant, things like that. So those beers at first will be obviously lighter hop styles.
Okay.
Until we can get a more consistent supply of hops on a regular basis. But we're pretty excited about doing that seasonal project.
Yeah.
And there'll be different barrel agings, using
Okay.
Brettanomyces, lactobacillus, things like that.
So you've got
to
room
make them a little funky.
You've got room for barrel.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Awesome. Very cool. So about how many barrels are you looking to do per year?
Well, capacity today is 3,800.
Okay.
And I would bet we're maxed out. We'll do that in our first year.
Really?
Yeah. Just looking at what we were able to do the last 6 months while it was still at Skagit, what we were brewing, and then adding our whole line of Farmstrong beers to that mix.
Right.
That would be no problem. So
Yeah.
first thing we need to do is expand a little bit.
Yeah.
Our flagship basically is the cold beer Pilsner. It's just a lighter style, easy drinking Pils style beer.
Okay.
That is, we want to make like a true Northwest light lager again. There isn't one anymore. There's hardly one left in the country really that isn't owned by some big conglomerate or a foreign entity.
Right.
So we want to make a regional beer like that again. And to do that, we're going to need to expand our capabilities.
Okay. So, I mean, this was just a what if kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, timing's right, right?
Absolutely.
That's it. I mean, the market is still. I mean, the state has not stopped growing.
Right. And the city of Mount Vernon has been instrumental in helping us and extremely supportive. They really want to make this a walla of beer, if you will. So with everything that's going on, especially with the Skagit Valley malting now, the Skagit Valley College has a new certificate program that they're putting in for a brewer's course. Mike Armstrong, our brewer, my partner here, is one of the lead advisors on that group. So we'll be able to utilize the teaching aspect of what we do, bringing their class over here for practical training, and we've got the space to do that kind of thing.
Nice. So you guys gonna do tours? You gonna allow tours of it? Is it
on an informal basis?
Okay.
It's I know there are still a lot of people out there that either haven't seen a brewery or always like to see them. So it's a pretty easy tour for us. You open the door and it's all right there.
Okay.
There's not a bunch of rooms to try and walk through.
Right.
We got plenty of space. So we'll be doing them on an informal basis for more than anything else.
Okay. Now the recipes, are these all Mike's recipes?
Yes.
And these are all new recipes that he's come up with?
Yes, all our Farmstrong beers are all new recipes, things he's developing and in the process of developing. We'll do lots of one-off beers throughout the year and get an idea. And kind of let his creative side flow a little bit, which he hasn't been able to do in the past, just based on the constraints of where they were. We'll have a little bit more flexibility here and can do some more of the fun projects with the barrel aging and things like that.
Cool. So now, this, I know I had talked to Eric before at Skagit, and he said when it was first opened, the original owners, they wanted it to be a brewery, not really a restaurant, and it really couldn't survive in that state without the restaurant. Do you think it's a different time now, 20 years later or whatever, that this is going to be able to survive more as...
Absolutely. One, we already have our distribution relationships are in place with the three major distributors for Western Washington.
Okay,
so that's
great.
already in line. We worked with them pretty closely already in developing and what we're going to do to go to market with our flagships. So a solid plan there. We've got a beautiful tap room.
Yeah.
The bar's almost too pretty.
Yeah, exactly.
But we'll have food trucks here, so we expect to be a pretty lively place in-house as well. In our tap room, we're not going to do a kitchen, so it's not really a restaurant, but we will have some showcasing some of the local wares. We're using so we'll have like a cheese and charcuterie place for people.
Okay.
We're using local cheeses from Samish Bay and Gothford Farms, Bread Farm for the breads and crackers from them, and then meats, some salamis and Lanyegger from Andel Meat here in the valley. And we got to figure out how to work in these Bow Hill blueberries. These pickled blueberries. We got to figure out how to get that in there because they're pretty unique and really delicious. So, yeah.
Okay, very cool.
So
what's the goal of Farmstrong?
I guess there's a couple answers to that. One, we want to be, first and foremost, we want to be a successful business.
Sure.
We want to be a solid, financially successful business. We want to be a solid employer for our employees so that they can enjoy coming to work, a fun environment. Nobody gets into the beer business to be miserable.
Yeah.
I've been in it for quite a while now, and I came from banking and things like that where it's pretty stuffy and can be a real just boring day, and that's why we're here in the beer business, is to have fun. So first and foremost, that's it. Second, we really want to, as I mentioned before, be a fixture in the community, do what we can do for the local farming community, especially the smaller, sustainable organic type farms, family farms. anything we can do to help promote their business and help them be successful is a win for us as well.
Okay, very cool.
Yeah.
So, there was a thought there. So we already know you're going to be using local ingredients. Are you going to be bottling, canning?
We will be doing, our main production will be canning.
Okay.
So that will be our first go-to-market in terms of packaging. And then in our specialty beers, we'll be doing some specialty bottling.
Okay.
Probably in either a 375 or a 500 ml type special packaging for special releases. But our everyday beers, I would say within a year, we'll have probably 3 of those being released in a can basis.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Have you done your artwork for those yet? Those still being worked on?
For the first one, the cold beer, we do have the artwork done on that one. Just waiting for the TTB to give the blessing and then have enough of it to put in the can, obviously.
Right. Okay. Very cool.
But I would say probably early November, we should see that ready to go to market.
All right. Nice. So, are there any specific? Are you going to like use all different types of ingredients? You're going to use like different types of malts. You're going to different types of hops. It's not going to be like you're not going to focus on any specific.
Yeah. One of the key things here, we've got all our base recipes and things out in regular beers, but the relationship we have with Skagit Valley Malting, these guys were avid home brewers, and they kind of approached it, all the different things that were being done with hops. They said, why can't we do it with malts? So you go over there and working with the Washington, the WSU extension, I guess from what I understand, there's been over 150,000 different types of grain that have been tested for viability here in the valley. And at any given time, you can go over there and they've got 25 to 50 different grains available to utilize, and you can taste them and things like that. And it's been phenomenal, just the quality of product that they can put out and what they can do for it. So we look forward to building relationships with the farmers themselves that are growing the grain.
Right.
They're right in our backyard, so it's easy to go over there and say, well, I'd really love, a couple acres of this particular style, and then work with the malting and, put this kind of roast on it and things like that. And they have the capability, because they're still small enough from a scale standpoint, where they can really customize something to fit our needs,
Nice.
Which is very unique.
Yeah.
So we really look forward to, exploiting that relationship to our fullest.
Yeah. That should allow you to create some definitely different beers.
Absolutely. Our very first beer, we did our first brew last Thursday. Had the mayor here, and all the ownership group from Skagit Valley Malting were here. We did 100% Skagit Valley malt batch, and it was a Goza, little older German style that's kind of become a little bit more regular these days. That Mike was able to sour it in the kettle using yogurt.
Nice.
As a lactobacillus for a souring phase. It's tasted pretty good so far.
Nice.
So I look forward to having that ready here next week.
All right, very cool.
Yeah.
So, down the line, you guys gonna start attending festivals like next year?
Actually, we've already started.
Oh, yeah.
We did the first annual Farm Stock event here last. It was right at the end of July. It was a little benefit done at a local organic farm to raise money for the Skagitonians to reserve farmland. So we'll be involved with that one every year.
Sure.
The Woodstock they did down at the river here 2 weekends ago, we were part of that one. So yeah, we've actually already started with the festivals, and we'll be regular, especially anything going on in the valley, up into Bellingham.
Right.
Some of the bigger ones going on down in Seattle, I want to be a part of.
Cool. And down the road, then looking at entering any of these in the competition.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, very cool.
There's a mixed bag that goes with competition. You never go, but it's always good to be able to hang some medals on the wall, and I think it provides some validity, if nothing else, to what you're doing when you're able to medal in one of those. So people appreciate what Mike's doing, and I think anybody that knows him, has beer, knows he makes great beer. We just want to make sure he's recognized for it.
Yeah. So with you opening and then the new Flyers opening,
right,
all of a sudden Mount Vernon becomes a little hub of brewing activity.
Well, that's their goal. That's what that's what the city wants, and obviously our roots go pretty deep with Tony over at Flyers. He brewed at LeConner with Mike and
Okay.
Arlen Harris years and years ago. They worked at Skagit together a little bit. Mike and Tony got a job in El Paso, Texas, years and years ago, and that's where Mike was from. So Mike actually went back there with them, and so they've kind of been, I guess, compadres in the brewing scene for over 10 years. So having them right here in Mount Vernon is pretty much just like normal duty, normal business day with Tony and the Flyers guys.
Yeah, that'll be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely gonna change things around here a little bit. It's gonna
That's
make
the plan.
it. You're kind of in the middle. You already got people coming up here, like especially
Yep.
in the spring for the Tulip Festival.
Right.
Gives people some destinations now.
Yeah.
So, so far? What's been the biggest obstacle you guys have had?
I would say just the learning curve on building just a project like this, with the construction and working with the city and the permitting and all those different aspects that, you think, hey, let's build a brewery. You're thinking, okay, I get a liquor license and sign a lease and off you go. And there's a lot more to the inner workings of dealing with the city and things like that and all the various organizations you work with. So that was probably the steepest learning curve. That and just waiting, patience.
Yeah.
We've kind of been ready to go, just waiting on all our liquor board permitting for a few months. We'd intended and wanted to be open back in June.
Okay.
Here we are rolling, going to be September. And a lot of that's just things go a lot slower than you think.
Yeah.
So patience is certainly the thing we probably had to practice the most of recently.
Okay.
Yeah.
So have you done a lot of the work yourself?
The cosmetic work.
Cosmetic,
We've done ourselves. We've, painting in here and stuff like that, building the tables. We knew we needed furniture, but we were getting low on the budget. So I said, well, let me see if I can make one. I figured if it turns out, if it doesn't turn out, it's $100 in materials, and if it turns out, then I kind of screwed myself, and here I am making a bunch of them now. 'Cause
Yeah.
It worked out okay. So.
Yeah, they look good though.
We had our bar done by a friend of ours named John Cole.
Okay.
That's Cole Woodcraft is his business. And,
Awesome.
phenomenal. Our electrician Ben, I think he's been here for 2.5, 3 months straight.
Yeah.
So they've done a ton of the work. A lot of the local guys. Nelson Trucking, moved all our equipment for us.
Okay.
That was pretty impressive to watch them move an entire brewery in 2 days.
Oh yeah.
It would have taken us 3-4 weeks, and
Oh,
we
yeah.
might have killed each other in the process. So it was good to get somebody to do that for us.
Awesome. So, you were in distribution.
Right.
That was craft beer.
Yeah, actually, I came out of the baking industry back in '04. I was, and still am, very good friends with the crew at Diamond Knot Brewing.
Okay.
From way back when they started, it was just Bob and Brian, and then
Okay.
Andy and Pat over there. And there's a theme to this, sitting in the bar there, talking to Andy. And it's like, there's no really distributor out there that's servicing the little guy. Obviously, this is 11, 12 years ago. And I said, you know what, I'm going to do that. So I wanted to be in the beer industry, somewhere or another. All my friends were either brewers or had pubs, things like that. I had to figure my way in. So I started a distribution company called Superior Distribution. They're based out of Everett, specializing in just craft beer. That's all we did. And ran that for about 3 years. And then the Odom Corporation, which is a large Northwest regional family-owned business. They were wanting to expand. They were in this market with wine. They were wanting to expand into the beer business. And we were able to get together, and I sold them my company, and then I went to work with them to help build a craft beer portfolio for them.
Okay.
Was there about 7 years. Went very successful what we were able to accomplish there. So I look forward to continuing to work with the Odoms, the Odom family, for a long time to come. As sort of just on the other side now, supplying them with the beer.
Yeah. So this was your goal all along, wasn't it? To get it.
Maybe subconsciously. It didn't seem that way. I really didn't see myself moving into and owning a brewery down the road. But the opportunity arose, and it was kind of one of those that was too good to pass up.
Yeah.
You know, everything was just kind of aligned. We found a third business partner in Dan Cameron who was really able to kind of solidify us as a group and help put this all together, you know, financially. So it's been great so far.
So what's going to be your position?
I pretty much take care of all the business side of things. Obviously, being from the distribution side, I'll be in the sales and marketing, working with the distributors and things like that, and then just the general business aspects of what we're doing here.
Okay.
As Mike and I like to say, you know, his side of the wall is through that door into the brewery. Everything out there is his domain. I'll take care of everything else. You know, and try to just make sure all he has to worry about is being creative and making great beer.
Awesome.
Although he's very artistic. Most of our logos started with what he had done, and a lot of the ideas come from him in terms of the creativity side. We work with Kevin Ledoux down in Seattle, and kind of takes his ideas and refines them, and make sure that we didn't infringe on somebody's copyright or something like that. You know, keeps it legal. But yeah, we just kind of have our roles, and it's working good.
Cool. Now, you brought that up. You're creating a bunch of new beers with new names.
Right.
How's that going?
It's pretty good. You know, our initial thought was we wanted to name it after towns in Skagit Valley, because there's a bunch of others, even a town that used to be called Bug.
Okay.
You know, so I mean, there's a lot of towns around here that don't really exist anymore. So somehow we want to resurrect them. We've basically got one out there so far, and it was our Stack and Hay IPA. Not a town, but you know, it kind of fits the theme. And as the other beers finish, we kind of been procrastinating putting names on them until until they're ready to serve. So, so that might be how it works out for a little bit. The only other one we have really that we need to actually put a name on is our Farmstrong Farmhouse Ale. You know, it's basically a saison style that's kind of the base of what we're doing here. It's a more rustic version than I think a lot of the saisons we're seeing in the local market, done by Northwest breweries, trying to inspire some of those more old world peasant, whatever we got kind of roots. Yeah. And then doing what we can to make specials off of that with funking it up in different barrels and things like that.
Oh, cool.
So still some work to go on our names.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you haven't come across a ton of trademark issues yet, huh?
Nothing yet. You know, I don't foresee many issues. Well, it was funny. The first one we came across was there's actually a bluegrass band out in Sequim called Farmstrong.
Oh, nice.
So right after we kind of went live, and sort of he called us up and says, "Hey, we're Farmstrong too." I was ready for you change. And so basically, it just came down to, I don't think there's a problem. Nobody's going to confuse it. So we'll just have them over here to play a couple times a year, and
there you go.
It'll work out great.
Farmstrong.
Yeah. They're doing a gig a couple weeks ago, and all four of the guys stopped in here in our building and brought us CDs. So nice guys. So we kind of look forward to having them around.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's the way a lot of these things should be worked out.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't think anybody can confuse a brewery and a bluegrass band.
Yeah, exactly.
So
now the last thing here, with pushing almost 300 breweries in this state, do you see a breaking point? I mean, you're coming in as one of the new ones too.
Well, I mean, naturally there is a point somewhere.
Yeah.
Where it is, I don't exactly know. I know here in Skagit Valley, there's not many breweries that we have to compete with right here. Obviously, going north into Bellingham, I think there's 15 now, or total of 15 with the new ones that are going to be coming online, have been applied for. Obviously, there's a ton down in Seattle. Western Washington is our primary market, and so with my background from a distribution standpoint, I think we got a pretty solid plan on how to differentiate ourselves, how to stand out in the marketplace, and it really comes down to owning your backyard. So we're just going to work our tails off here in the valley and go from there. But we got a great product. A lot of people are really excited about what we're doing. The city's behind it. And unlike most startups that are starting from scratch, we're not really starting from scratch, because we're going to be making a lot of the beers for Skagit and things like that. So we are starting with built-in distributor relationships already in place, with a built-in customer base already in place, which does minimize some of the risk we obviously taken. And the space we're in here is obviously built to expand. We didn't want to have to move 2 years down the road and 2 years after that. So we've got the built-in space here to increase our capacity and grow with our demand. What it really comes down to is just creating a loyal customer base that are loyal to us as a company. And I think we have a really unique way that we're going to be able to do that.
All right. Awesome. Todd Owsley, Farmstrong Brewing, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Awesome.
Great to be here.
All right, thanks to Todd Owsley from Farmstrong Brewing in Mount Vernon, opening this weekend. It's going to be a good time. And we'll be right back after a local music break from the Young Evils.
I'm like an
That was Renegade by the Young Evils. You can check them out at theyoungevils.bandcamp.com. If you want to have your music played on Northwest Brew Talk, contact us today.
Okay, time for another beer. This is Melissa from Propolis Brewing.
Propolis was established in 2012, and it's located in Port Townsend. They're a small production-only brewery brewing unique herb beers.
Okay, and I was not prepared for this. It has a cork, so I'll be right back. All right, had to get a corkscrew to open this beer, and we're going to pop it open here. Whoa, that pops like wine. Pretty crazy. One of the things they did say is that a lot of their beers, because they are special beers, they should be aged. Some of them are aged. You can smell this right away. This has a...
Oh, yeah.
Definitely. This is, yeah. This is Propolis Melissa 2015 Field Series, a golden saison brewed with lemon balm. It has an untapped rating of 3.68, so not too bad. Now, it's an ale brewed with propolis microbes aged over 2 years. I'm guessing just the microbes were aged over 2 years. Let's see. Almost looks like a wine.
Oh, yeah.
Looks a little different.
It does look like a wine.
Looks a little different than beer. There's a nose of citrus, clover, and hay, butterscotch, golden hue with soft, creamy mouthfeel, earthy minerality. I'm reading this. We're not trying this ourselves. Tastes of biscuit, honey-glazed baguette, white pepper, light mint, floral bitters, pomelo, and honey. Crisp with a refreshingly dry finish.
Interesting. The first thing I smelled was honey, so.
Yep.
And I'm a honey fan, so we'll see how.
Yeah, go ahead. Give that a... It's very light. Almost looks like a white wine.
Wow, that's an interesting flavor.
Yeah, you can taste
Everything.
spices, white pepper. That is different. This is the most expensive bottle of beer that we have purchased.
Yes.
We have another one coming up in a couple weeks, but this one is by far the most expensive. And we held off for a while just because it is more expensive, but it is not bad at all. Now, on their website, it does say that they have beer care and such. And it says that most of their beers can be aged up to 2 years, which they said it'll like mellow out all the flavors and they will blend together better. And also says that when you pour it, you should let it warm a little bit. It's not supposed to be like ice cold to drink. But yeah, this is definitely different.
Yeah, I like it.
We're going to drink our 1659 worth or whatever it is.
I want you to give me fresh beer. You serious?
This week's fresh beer is from Paradise Creek Brewery in Pullman. Released this week is their seasonal Arc Flash India Session Ale, a blend of Cascade, Mosaic, Citra, and Falconer's Flight hops with Yakima Valley delivers a contemporary mix of earthy, citrusy, and fruity aromatics with a substantial bitterness that's backed by the amber red body from the Crystal, Carafa, and Pale malts. At 4.1% ABV and 37 IBUs, this amber-colored session ale pairs great with chicken, seafood, and burgers.
Okay. Hey, and I figured out why this propolis smelled so much like honey, because that's what they use to seal the cap with. So it's really not the honey that's in it.
Yeah, I didn't smell the honey as much or taste it.
I'm like, where is this honey coming from? So I start sniffing the outside
sniffing
of
the bottle.
That's what it was. All right, and that brings us to the end of this episode of Northwest Brew Talk.
Make sure you tune in next week when we chat with In the Shadow Brewing.
This show is produced and edited by me with engineering help from Michelle Rizzo.
If you want to contact us, you can email us at nwbrewtalk@gmail.com or give us a call at 541-595-TALK.
If you leave us a message on the line, we might play it on the air. Until next time, I'm Mike Rizzo.
And I'm Michelle Rizzo.
Stay hoppy, my friends.